Good morning, Twin Cities Orthopedic Society. I'm honored to be here presenting on orthopedic fellowships for United States and South Korea. I'm Dr. Prashant Meshram. I'm not new to Hyderabad and Secunderabad. I visited there in the past. I really love the Hyderabadi biryani, the Charminar, the Ramoji Film City, and of course the famous movie Angres. I don't have any financial disclosures for this talk. I'm a member of American Shoulder and Elbow Society and Indian Arthroscopic Society. My talk is really based on the articles I've written in the past on this topic and my fellowships at Johns Hopkins, USA and South Korea at Seoul National University and TK Orthopedic Surgery. This talk is really for orthopedic residents and senior registrars who are looking for a short route to get overseas fellowships and do not want to appear for any exams. I'll be talking in three broad terms. First is node guidelines for getting fellowships, how to get them in South Korea, how to get them in USA. The node guidelines I wrote first about in the Bombay Orthopedic Society column, the link for which is available on my Instagram. I've created this fellowship highlight, which has stories one by one, all my talks and all my articles about how to get fellowships and different aspects of it. So node guidelines is really networking, exams, research, and diligence. Those are the four key basic steps which are to be followed if you want to get a fellowship overseas. Networking really means interacting with the peers to develop professional and social contacts. What you got to do is make local mentors who will help you to identify and get fellowships outside with overseas mentors. These mentors really form a support system for your life, as you can need in the future for your career development, in terms of your job opportunities, in terms of research opportunities. They form a bond for the whole life. Jack Ma, in his very famous interview with the World Economic Forum, said that 20 to 30 or 35 years of age, which is most of the audience, I believe, the target really should be to follow the good boss. So who is actually, in fact, would be your ideal local mentor who can help you get an overseas fellowship? He should be someone who practices your own specialty, should be academically active, and follows a lot of research, publishes a lot of papers, someone who is fellowship trained overseas, someone who has an international network like a president of orthopedic societies. Now, how do we identify overseas mentor? The first direct contact would be if your local mentors can recommend you for an overseas fellowship. That is the best way to get a fellowship. Another way is if you can meet all these overseas mentors who come to give talks in international meetings and conferences in India. You can go up to them and you can talk to them about giving you opportunity, and you can ask them that I'll send you an email, I'll send you my CV, you can consider it. Finally, through PubMed. How do we identify mentors for your overseas fellowship through PubMed? Is you just open PubMed, type your specialty is shoulder surgery. You would get the recent articles published. You see who is publishing the most. That guy is probably more likely to have research funding, and he can fund your fellowship overseas. If you want to find my mentor, whom I did by the fellowship, you don't even have to ask me. Go for any of the articles which have recently been published, and you see the last mentor, the last author is typically the senior author, and he's the mentor. And if you go to the full text link of this particular article, you don't have you just need PubMed, and that's it. If you go to the full text link, there's a small icon here which is which is like a letter. If you click there, that is bam, it will give you the email address of my particular mentor. You can apply to him. Rigorous work on your email application while applying for overseas fellowship. They judge you. They don't know you personally. These overseas mentors judge you based on the quality of your email. It should be described in 3 paragraphs. First is who are you? Who recommended this fellowship for you? Why this particular fellowship? And why should they choose you? What you bring to the table? I have uploaded the format for the email, how to write the CVs, how the LOR should be on my Instagram page. It's also available on my Facebook page as a highlight, story highlight. If someone's looking for clinical fellowships in the United States, you must do USMLE exam. Residency is optional, but USMLE is must. Residency is recommended for those who want to settle down in the United States. I did a research fellowship in the US and did not need to give USMLE. For South Korea, it's very difficult to get a license because of baseline MBBS degree is not recognized in South Korea. None of the Indian institutes are recognized, or universities are recognized in South Korea. The mantra for paid fellowships without giving any exams is research publications and plus networking. Research, even like surgery, it is like a skill set. The more you publish, the more you get better at it. The more support system you have, easier it gets. Residents should really try to publish and present their thesis, because they're allowed to make mistakes. They have more time to publish, and it's really good ahead. If they publish something in their residency, they are more likely to publish elsewhere, more in life after their residency, and more likely to get a very good paid fellowship at a very good institute. Also prefer quality over quantity when you're publishing papers. You've got to be the first author. You've got to publish in PubMed Index journals with impact factor. These journals have also the list of these journals where you should try to publish is also included on my Instagram page. Fourth most important thing about NERD guidelines is diligence. Diligence is doing the job efficiently and taking care of little details. The attitude towards your mentors so that they can give you recommendation for fellowship should be of mutual growth. You should work hard with diligence and humility. This kind of turns into respect and trust, and you get recommendations for fellowships abroad. My local mentors have really called up, and they have sent personal emails requesting the overseas mentor to give me the fellowship, and that really makes a lot of difference. Let's see how we can apply the NERD guidelines and how we can go about fellowships in South Korea. So South Korean fellowships basically are their joint specific practice in South Korea. The surgeons will be knee surgeons, shoulder surgeons, spine, tumor. There are no arthroplasty, arthroscopy surgeons. They would take one joint and do everything. So be prepared for that. Second is, most of them will allow you to scrub in, but you must confirm this beforehand. There's no hands-on surgeries. No one will give you hands-on surgery overseas unless you have a clinical fellow, unless you have a medical license to practice there. You'll get a lot of sawbone workshops. You'll get to publish papers. It will be a stepping stone if you want to further go down the road of US research fellowships, which I did. Your application should be done as soon as possible. If you want to go to South Korea, I would do it in last year of my residency, because the waiting period for any good fellowship which is paid is at least 2 to 3 years. What you really need is an updated CV. You need a letter of recommendations from previous fellows, and also you need research papers. I have for my fellows, for my fellowship mentors, their contact numbers, their contact emails have been uploaded on my Instagram page. Do they pay you money for fellowships? Oh yes, most of the fellows which I've seen who went to South Korea for an orthopedic fellowship were paid somewhere in between 70,000 to 1.2 lakhs INR per month, and half of which, or I would say 40,000 to 50,000 of them will go in expenses. Will food and language be an issue in South Korea? Most of the people speak English, and basic Korean can be learned in YouTube. I joined a weekend class because I was there for a very long time. So I needed more grasp of the local language to understand and interact with the colleagues. There are limited options for vegetarians in food, but you can survive. I've known people who survived there for a year, and it's really not that difficult. What about the United States? The dictum is to apply as soon as possible. The email sources would be your previous fellows who are local mentors. AutoGate is a really good website. The link for which is on my Instagram. Go there at least for 1 year for a research fellowship. It's really worth it. The rule for how to get a US research fellowship is, I cannot sum it up in a better way than my mentor from Johns Hopkins, Dr. Edward McFarland. 90% of life is just showing up. Just send that email. Just don't think about it. Keep sending emails. Throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And it does stick. This limited paid fund research fund fellowships in United States. What you really need is strong research background and recommendations. So you probably need to work for 1 or 2 or 3 years on research after your residency and during your residency in order to get enough number of publications to be able to qualify for your US research fellowships. They pay you around 3.2 lakhs per month in terms of Indian money, half of which will go in expenses, rest you can save. What US research fellowships really offer is an unmatched research experience. They have resources much better than most of the countries in the world. You'll get numerous pubs and presentations, boost your CV, international recognition. I could never imagine becoming a member of American Shoulder and Elbow Society, but only because of my research fellowship at Johns Hopkins, it was possible. You also do get to perform, you get to do observe a lot of surgeries. You also get to attend top-notch conference meetings. You get to present in them. Of course, you make friends, and you make your colleagues would be those in the future. They would be the leaders in orthopedics in the world, and it would be good to have a network with them, because that will help you further down in your career in the future. For those who are looking for US clinical fellowships, you must do USMLE. For USMLE exams, the time to start preparation is second year of residency. Once you're done with your fellowship, go for research fellowship for 2 to 3 years in the United States. Meanwhile, you can prepare your steps. What you need for a fellowship is to get a clinical fellowship is letter of recommendations from United States surgeons, about 20 odd publications in reputed journals. And you can either do a 4 to 5 years of residency if you want to settle down there and get a job there in the future. But if you want to come back to India, I would recommend directly applying for a fellowship after you clear your USMLE. You need perseverance, it takes time, it's worth it. In summary of the talk, the way really is to network, is to try to give some exams, do your research, and be diligent. South Korea is an easier option. You get very well balanced choice. You get your research, you get your surgical experience, you get to publish papers. US research fellowships are tougher to get, but they're definitely worth it. All of this material is explained in detail on my Instagram page, on all the links in this fellowship highlight. They're also on my Facebook page. I would leave you with the words of my mentor, Dr. TK Kim from South Korea, whom is one of the greatest person I know. Unless you spread your wings, you will have no idea how far you can fly. Thanks for having me.